Creative Talks Africa are going to be monthly creative talks hosted by Design Hub Kampala, KQ Hub Africa, Youth Connect Uganda, and other partners and sponsors that will come on board. Tonight we are having two creatives that are going to talk to us, or maybe let me talk about Design Hub. Design Hub is a co-working space. It is a space for creatives. All of us are welcome at Design Hub. So if you think you're a freelance photographer, designer, graphic designer, fashion designer, and you need an office space, please come to Design Hub. This is a home for you. KQ Hub is a virtual hub right now, but we are launching soon our physical space, but then it might be a collaboration between Design Hub and KQ Hub to open up a creative arts center for creatives within Design Hub. Youth Connect Uganda is a social enterprise that works with emerging creative artists and social activists. So we talk about social issues, we talk about creative issues and something like that. Yes, so the Creative Talks Africa is a project that is being hosted by Design Hub, KQ Hub, and Youth Connect Uganda. And the idea is, how do we bring creatives together to network, collaborate, meet mentors, and share ideas? So we will be inviting two creatives. We have the entertainment creative and the creative that will be highlighting the night. So next time it could be a fashion designer, the other time it could be a graphics designer, the other time it could be every month. So Kibuuka is one guy. There's also Jumba Martin. I had Jumba Martin for last year's talk. This year I was honored and humbled to send Kibuuka my invitation. And Kibuuka quickly accepted and was like, oh, if it is about sharing my knowledge with fellow creatives, then I think it's something I would love. Can we clap for Kibuuka for that?
Welcome to the Creative Talk. And thanks to Mr. Wabirit for having me. Like he said, I'm happy to share, and I guess that's basically the basis of who I am, and sharing is it's part of what made me or what made me and what put me in this position. I guess in the first few minutes I'm going to be a bit trembling, like you can tell. I'm going to be dig. But trust me, it's going to get better. Eh? So we're going to be both on a journey. We're going to be on a journey. Oh, wait.
Like I told you, I got to know Kibuuka 2 years back down the memory lane when I started looking through his work, and I really loved what he was doing in the photography community. And so when I was looking out for people to invite for this creative talk, our theme this month was photography and videography, and Kibuuka was one of the people we thought about. Maybe he definitely needs to share with us. Kibuuka, who are you?
Yeah, who am I? I'm this guy here, skinny as you can see. Ugandan photographer, 25 years old. I am a brother, like I said earlier. I keep insisting on that because that was also coming in the presentation as well. 4 siblings, 3 crazy brothers, and then 1 little sister. And I am a hip hop head as a whole. I'm a scholar in the culture, if we can all share that experience. I've beatboxed, I've wrote as a graffiti writer, I've locked, never popped, but I've also breakdance, or I breakdance. Yeah, and I'm a human being. That's the most important part of everything. Thank you.
Okay, so you do documentary photography, right? And there's some aspect of what you call youth hip hop documenting, and then the people around you. And right now we're talking about creativity and empathy. I just want to know about what is that empathy? What is the empathy in your creative production? Can you tell us that aspect of empathy in your creative production? Thank you.
Right. Thanks. So this would all would have made a lot of sense if I went through the presentation. Sorry. So I'll just give you a brief background about the person I am. If I could remember well from your presentation. And now I have your attention. So about the empathy part of my photography, or my visual interpretation when it comes to taking pictures, it all starts from childhood. So, and I'll try to keep it as short as I can. So being a kid, I was raised by a single mother, teenage mother, and this is the lady that was very well expressive when it comes to drawing, and so I inherited the drawing from her, and because she did lots of drawings for her clients, because she has a salon, so she used to do drawings for her clients that you can see the different type of braids that she can she has on the menu, or if you call it menu. So so thanks to her. And so as a kid, I've tried out many things that I wanted them to really kind of define me as a person. So first, I've tried football, which I did very well, but I never made it to like a bigger. I never made it bigger because, of course, you can see I'm not as strong as any footballer would be. And then fortunately enough, in 2006, I got an opportunity, and I joined a local youth initiative called Breakdance Project Uganda. So I don't know if we all know about it, but Breakdance Project Uganda is an initiative that uses breakdance as a breakdance and other elements of the hip hop culture to empower young people and make them responsible citizens in their community, regardless of their social backgrounds, And so this kind of gave me a sense of belonging. It brought me to a community where I was accepted, or I am accepted, and then also I got to learn about hip hop as a culture. So I did breakdance, and then trust me, with doing a breakdance, it's like you better yourself as an individual, and then every time you better yourself, you have a stronger understanding of yourself, and also self-motivation as well. So I'm getting there to the question. So where all this comes, being involved in heavily invested in the culture, and then also the kind of, and then also being part of other youth initiatives within the hip hop world, or the hip hop community in Uganda, it's part of my work. So I'll show you a couple of images. I wish we were again on the presentation. I'll show you a couple of images, but they all has it all shows you about the local breakdance community. And then so first, this community gave me a sense of belonging, a sense of person, a sense of and also gave me the grounds to exercise my artistic and photography skills. This is where the part of empathy would jump in, because what I did a lot was just to share the world around me, and that was just the break dancers. So I've been documenting since like 2010, when also that's another long story. When a couple of friends, Yora, Mark, and I initiated another breakdance festival called Breakfast Jam. If you've been to one, my work is surrounded that, and then because I'm heavily invested in this community, it meant that I'm just giving what this community is giving me back. I'm trying to echo their energy of them being breakdancers, them being these guys that walk like from this community to another community, and then teach breakdance for free, and then also and then also like making sure that they better themselves each and every other day, and then nobody knows about it because nobody's there to take pictures of this community. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I really like the story, especially when you go to how you documented the stories and the passion and the enthusiasm that you have for this kind of trying to change the narrative in the hip hop style and all that stuff. But then there's this kind of system where most photographers are going into commercial, you know. So they are looking for, how do I benefit from this? How is documenting youth hip hop beneficial to me? How am I going to make ends meet? So the question here that I have for you is, how do you strike the balance between doing something that is passionate for you, especially when it has an empathetic connotation, to also making ends meet? How do you strike a balance between the two? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Shit, I guess ready. Thanks for the question again. So this is the interesting part about photography, you know. One part, you wanna be an amazing artist. I mean, I don't know why everybody does it, but my one of the missions and visions of being a photographer is being an amazing artist, and I'm working on each and every other day. So to me, making money, yes, is very important. The commercial part is definitely very important. I need to buy some nice shoes and shirts and stuff, whatever is necessary, and then also make ends meet. But then eventually, you need to create work that matters. You need to put together a vision that somebody will walk with, or something you want to be reminded for. And that partly is my drive, because I've lived in two worlds. Initially, when I was like, I did you know, like small gigs, each and every gig that came towards my way, I was jumping on it, so I can make ends meet. And because you live in those times where you're struggling to get money, and then it's also another long story for me as well, because it's my making ends meet is not only for me. Through photography, I'm able to support my family, to put a roof under my mom, and then take a couple of my siblings to school. And yeah, so you're pushed to kind of think commercially. Then eventually, there was a time that when I was actually last year, I spent the whole year traveling around making money. Traveling, been to Zanzibar, worked there, I've been to Cape Town, worked there, I've been there, and then eventually I spent an entire year without creating anything that's solid, that is going to be contributing to my portfolio. And then I was like, what am I doing? Is it about just the money, or is it about the work? Because eventually the wedding photography I'm going to be doing, or that other lifestyle photography, nobody's going to remember me for that. And so don't get me wrong, the money making part is very, very, very important. So make sure, I guess I also make sure to kind of work on my business skills, and not only invest in photography, because if you want to stay sane, you don't only need to have photography as the only income generating activity. I guess you have to find other means as well, create things that kind of bring in money, and then use because I started photography as a means to express myself. So I was handed a camera within Breakdance Project Uganda. I was handed a camera, and then so where it all started is like this. I'll take you back, because it was still again in the presentation that I've put together. So how it all started as me being a photographer was through BPU, or Breakdance Project Uganda. I was handed a camera to take the day-to-day activities of the organization, and then because as a young kid I really enjoyed drawing. I enjoyed drawing a lot, and then I also did graffiti, which at some time became my girlfriend, because we spend lots of time together, me drawing lines, creating all those complex lines, and then putting together colors. And so when I got introduced to photography, like you can hear, kacha, and then that way is an image made, so it wasn't that long. So photography made a lot of sense, because I thought one click, yes, I already have an image put together. It's not like drawing where you just spend an entire 3 hours of putting together one drawing. So then photography as it came in, it gave me that voice, and then it gave me that sense of like every time I click, because I was around the breakdancers, every time I click in, I managed to pause them in the air, in their element that they wanted to be seen. It kind of fed my soul. So this is like the first spark of me being a photographer as well. You know, creating that image that, you know, where somebody, you feel that emotion, and I'm still striving to make sure that I create that image, which I haven't made today. So I don't want to put both things apart. Commercial photography is very important, or you have to make ends meet. So find ways that you can make ends meet, and at the same time, to me, it's also very important to create art and also tell. Because we're, as photographers, I guess we're not just here for ourselves. Because if, especially for me that shoots a lot of people, not with guns but with camera, I need people. So I think we need to tell the stories of the people around us, and then that's like very, very important. So people, I guess, let's not forget about this, the art, and then also sharing the stories of the people about us, and then things that really matter. It's been done. Yeah.
Okay, so that's great. I just want to, I also wanted to know, do you have any formal training in photography, or is it something you self-taught yourself? Because I know very many photographers have actually self-taught themselves, and some of them have said, no, let me not do this, the economics degree, let me put there and start profiling people's stories. And I know very many creatives here who are actually doing creative work just because they felt the creative path is actually their way to document people's stories, to creatively come up with artistic work that, yeah. So I'm interested, or we are interested in knowing, did you self-teach yourself photography, or did you sit in a class to study photography and something?
Are you guys interested?
Yeah.
Because you said he's interested. I didn't know if you're all interested. Yeah. So again, back to my presentation. It's not here. My flash. So shoot. So the whole thing started. I guess the way I am built, or the way this whole thing worked, Kibuuka, I wasn't very, very well in class, because I mean I needed something that really engaged me in class, and then I wasn't that guy who was doing well with words. I was very, very, very good with pictures, to the extent that I drew mini, and I did charts, if some of us know, in our primary classes here, in our primary school here, drawings for like my class, and then also sometimes for like the upper classes, like P7, and I was in like P5. And then also I remember doing my uncle's work, who was in advanced secondary in senior 6. So where am I getting because I wasn't that school wasn't really my community of, you know, learning and also expressing myself, because I think I really needed that. I think that's the way I can study and understand things. I went as far as like senior 4, and I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. It's not really my thing. So and then photography came in. I took many pictures. Like we all know, your first, I don't know, 1 million pictures are not your best. And because I was handed the camera, and I would say I'm self-taught. I was introduced to some of the basics of photography, but I'm self-taught. I've never been to a school and like a proper institute where, you know, you have teacher teaching you things. So I've all the bits and pieces that make me as a photographer come from literally everything. So that is from YouTube, a lot of YouTube, and a lot of being passionate and then also very enthusiastic about understanding things that makes photography as a whole, understanding light, and understanding storytelling, and then also putting myself in the right position and trying to connect with the people that can put me in the right connection with other photographers that are doing the same thing. So my school is just like knowing somebody like this amazing waiter here, Gilbert, and Malaika Media there, and sometime I know you're hiding. Every creative like that I've talked to about photography also add a lot to my photography journey.
Okay. Oh, that's great. So you bring in quite a good twist. Do you have people that you looked up to when you're becoming a photographer? The pieces you're picking. I'm pretty sure the people that you looked at and you're like, oh, I really want to be like this guy. I really want to take pictures like this guy. Are there people that actually influenced you to go into photography? Can you share with us something about that? Thank you.
Yeah, so actually the people that I make sure I capture the b-boys around me in the right pose. So that is like my inspiration. I don't know if it makes sense to everyone, but just capturing them in the right pose while they're doing an air chair or handstand, cave freeze, whatever you can name it. That kind of made me think about how am I going to pose them, how am I going to capture that picture while this guy is doing an air flip and stuff. And then, so later on, I became more and more educated about the whole photography as a genre or as whatever it is. And then I started a few other people's work that locally and then also internationally. But initially it was this French photographer who did a lot of, who does or still do a lot of documenting all the best breakdance festivals and urban dance festivals and also editorial work in fashion as well. It's called Little Shao. Little Shao. Yeah, so I would draw my mind. Yeah, so so he's a French photographer that lives in Paris, and then because that basically it all started in hip hop and breakdance. So this is one guy that I was looking up to, or when I got introduced to his work, and then I've also I've been to UPPA workshops, and where UPPA is there. So I've also been to PPA workshop, and I think they had a workshop about documentary photography, and so it was like a 4 days workshop, and then partly they taught about the basics of photography, basics of like processing or editing pictures and stuff. That was quite amazing. I guess it was the very, very, very first edition that I attended, and then Will. I don't know if he's one of the workers there. He gave us assignment about actual documentary photography through the workshop that I attended, and then I did a story. So I was really, and then it made a lot of sense from what I've done before. Like we were assigned to go back in our community and do it whatever subject you find. So yeah. Then I got into got to understand what documentary photography is. So what I'm trying to get, and then I looked around a couple of photographers locally, and then Edward Echwalu came up with his. I saw his work that he's done through different communities he's been covering, and then different topics, and so I've learned a lot from his blog in the initial times. All of these different projects that he did. So Edward Echwalu I looked upon, and Little Shao, and then basically anything that I could find online. Yeah.
That's really good. That's really good. So I know there are very many emerging photographers and creatives within the space, and most of them are trying to figure out how to get into the documentary world. But then they're asking themselves, is it really something that is worth actually going into? Or is it just because I see Kibuuka doing documentary photography, and therefore I should go into it. You get it? When is the right time for me to actually think about going into documenting people's stories and something like that?
Interesting question. I mean, I can't tell you when is the right time to do the right thing. All I know from my own experience, I wouldn't even say that I'm only doing documentary photography. I'm expressing myself through photography. I don't want to limit myself to one genre of photography. So, so when do you know it's the right time to do the right thing? First, I would say, do you feel comfortable with approaching any subject? Are you ready to invest your time and yourself into that community? And how involved are you in this community? And then what does it mean to you? First, it should make sense to you. You should feel that there's a need. You know, we all approach different stories because it kind of resonates with us, or it means something to you. So to me, I was fortunate enough or lucky that it all started with breakdance. You know, like all I could see my friends around were just breakdancers. So I was like, okay. Actually, initially I didn't have this one thing that, okay, now I'm going to document these people. No, I was just like taking pictures of them each and every other time, using whatever camera was out there, like from, let's say, from point and shoot, from Canon, Nikon.
You buy this camera?
That's a long story. And after long ass time, and I got a camera on microcredit that I had to pay for the camera for about 4 years, but initially I didn't have I didn't know that this is the kind of photography I want to do. So I would only describe it as documentary photography. All I think is like find something that resonates with you, something that you think is very important. Find that story that you think some people need to hear out there. And so because I've been overly invested in the hip hop or the breakdance community here, everywhere I go or I've traveled, it's very easy for me to link with like local breakdancers there, and then shoot with them because they know this is what I stand for and this is who I am. So just find something, and then it doesn't come overnight.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe I would also want to know about, or we would love to know about, which camera do you use? Canon? Do they call it 5D EOS, something like that? Nikon or something like that? What is that camera that brings the right photos that you'd love to depict out there?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because I don't know how to respond to it. When you see the images, you won't tell which camera took the picture. It's about the story in the picture, not only about. I guess it's got nothing to do with the tool. Okay, the tool is very important. Because if you need to go underwater, you need a certain, other gear that I got a lot more to do. Other gears, and then the camera then becomes just one thing, and you need lights and stuff. So to me, initially I shot with whatever camera was there, and then I produced images that made me happy. So every time they ask me that question, I go back as in the beginning. Whatever camera came my way is the only tool that I had to express myself. So I could click and then produce an image, and then forgot about the label on the front. I was just only looking at the screen at the image that I produced, and I was thinking, how am I going to make it better? How am I going to make it better, and forget about the camera. So whatever camera you have, especially when you're starting, it's very important. It could be your phone. It was going to push you to find the right equipment because eventually what you will need, that this type of assignment will need a specific type of camera, lens and stuff, and then let's just say you need a let's just say point and shoot or DSLR or medium format, then because each kind of assignment or whatever endeavor that you taking on, and needs a certain type of camera, but don't cameras got nothing to do with photography. okay, it makes pictures, but it's not about the type or brand.
So with my small phone, I can go and document people's stories. I think that is it. Everyone knows. As long as you have a camera, you can document your story. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I also want to know, what is your greatest achievement? What would you consider as your greatest achievement in your life or experience, being a photographer, taking these photos and all that stuff? What would you consider to be the greatest achievement in your photography career or journey?
My greatest achievement. Yeah, yeah. I don't think I have one. I never thought about that. I mean, because being a photographer, I just want to be better each and every other time. And I'm looking at my images again and again. I'm like, okay, this are really crap. I need to make them better. So my greatest achievement, I've documented the world around me. So if you look on Instagram with the hashtag Africa around me, you get to find a couple of pictures of my work. So I guess to me that is very, very important, just to create work in your community that people will get to learn, to get to see you, and then also see the people that you're surrounded. Reason as to why I'm saying that. Let's say maybe Africa has a one-sided image in the international media, and I think we also need to provide the other side that not everybody does. So I don't know if it's the greatest, but I think one of the things that I've achieved is being a part of a community of not only me, but also many other amazing photographers around Africa that are putting their images from Africa that doesn't only show one side. Yeah, and yeah, that's one. I can't say one. Yeah, I remember there was a time in. May I say another one, guys?
Yeah.
Am I boring?
No.
In case I am, just raise your hand and I'll just run away. So, yeah, like I told you earlier, I was raised by a single teenage mother with many siblings. And I remember there was a time I was on assignment, and then I was like, I think I was like 18 or 19. Could be. Yeah, I was on assignment somewhere in Gulu, and I was assigned by the Good Institute to like document. They had a circus project that was traveling around the country from like east to west and north. Yes, that's right. And so I was like the onboard photographer. Yeah. And my mom called me, and she called me in tears, and she told me, they're chasing me out of the house. I'm here with the kids, and the landlord just locked us outside. I don't know what we're gonna do. And that really fucked me up. I don't have a better word to use. That really fucked me up big time. And I remember when I quit school, I told mom, I said we can't afford. You can't afford paying school fees for us all. I'm gonna go work for you, which sounded, I felt like I was really lying to her, and I really did it at that moment, because I was like, what? Yeah, I was young. So I told her, I'm gonna work for you, just pay for my little siblings, I'll find my way. And then I wasn't living in the house. So when mom called me, I was so sad. I was really sad to the bone that, knowing your mom doesn't have a place to stay and you're somewhere away. So, and then I reminded her again, I told you I'm going to work for you, so don't worry, I'm going to send mobile money. So I talked to the Goethe Institute, the person that got me on board, and then so they actually, it was good that they paid me some of the money that I was still working for. And then I sent her money, and then she had a roof, and then the kids as well. They were happy eventually. So I mean, maybe one of the greatest thing that I've achieved out of photography is I put my siblings in school, and then also I put my roof on my mom, and it takes everything. It takes. Thank you. So it's all through photography and then hard working, and eventually I think that's great.
Thank you very much. Okay, I found that a really sad story. Although the outcomes are really good, because at the end of the day, you realize that you're using your creative gig to try and see how best you can better society, better your family, and something like that. And I know very many young people here, or emerging creative artists, who are also going through the same situation to see how best they can put everything right at home, within their school fees and something like that. But then the creative space or the creative ecosystem does not allow a number of young people to try and put their best feet out there to make ends meet and something like that. So there has been conversation about pay, there's been conversation about exposure, there's been conversation about a platform and all that stuff, So I don't know, is exposure, platform, as pay for work done really something a creative could take on? Is that something you've also experienced in your life as a creative? Getting to where you are and people are like, you know what, we want you to come and shoot, but the opportunity here is that you're going to get a platform, you're going to get an exposure, you're going to, that thing. So I also wanted you to tell me about something like that, because it has been in the creative space.
Yeah, I still need exposure, but paid exposure. Yeah, I mean, I've been approached by many people asking or telling me that they'll give me exposure if I go work for free. In the beginning, it kind of worked. I mean, I don't want to lie to you and be like, oh no, I didn't take any exposure opportunity. I didn't care about that. I mean, I started this when I was very little, like 18. I was, starting to shoot some of the things. So everything that came my way, I was like, oh, this is a great opportunity. They're going to give me exposure. Some exposure kind of worked, and then other exposures, I'd done nothing came out of it. People were like, oh, just give me your photographs. We're going to print them here. Do this for you. Do that for you. Do this, whatever. And not every exposure worked. And then until I came to really keep doing what I'm doing, keep doing what I'm doing, keep doing what I'm doing. And then years later, people kind of now see my good work. I wouldn't say my good, but my work there that is actually, that they find interesting. And then now they want to give me exposure. So some people are like, oh no, we'll put some pictures on our Instagram, and you ask them how many followers you have. They're like, yeah, we have about 1,000, and I'm like, okay, I have about 24,000. So how are you going to give me exposure? This is not really a topic that I want to discuss about, but it's like, so some people don't really maybe understand us, and don't really feel, or they don't put themselves in the same position with us. I think they're just about putting their work out there, and then trying to work with the best people, and then they don't know how to even deliver. Some people don't really get it. I've had a few people that they're like, oh, we're going to give you exposure. So I'm like, okay, can we have a one-on-one meet-up and conversation? So you talk, and then they don't actually understand the idea they're trying to put out there. And then other people, they just want to straight out exploit you. So for that, and I've just tried as much as I can to stay away from those people, because you ask me this, I ask you that. If we're not really coming to a common ground, I think we cannot work. And I learned that eventually, because not every opportunity is gonna be for you. And then I know we create our own opportunities as well. So if you're starting out there and you feel like working with the right person, if you feel like this person is not giving you what you want, try to put it on a balance and see if it really it actually have to work for you. If it's not, yeah, I don't know, but at least that's how I do it.
Okay. Okay, maybe this should be my last question, and then we shall leave it to the audience to also ask. What is one thing you tell an emerging photographer? Oh, before I go to that, sorry. I also wanted to know, you've exhibited, right? You've been exhibiting, you've had a solo exhibition and something like that. I think you didn't share something about that. You did not, so we need to know. Have you exhibited exhibitions that you perform, publications and all that stuff?
Yeah, exhibition, publications. They're all online, you can find them. Yeah, my work, I've been fortunate enough that many people have got to invite me to share my work with different communities. So I've exhibited at Kampala Biennale, is it? Biannual festival. That was, I don't remember. And then yeah, my work has also been on exhibition in Rome, Switzerland, Denmark. The gallery style, where everybody come fancying and just out there to drink the wine. No, I'm exhibiting most of the times at our breakdance events, so it's not too much lately, but so sometime when you come to our events, you can get to see some of my photographs. It's also something that I really want to do, because what happens when it comes to the kind of work we do. I have a couple of colleagues that they produce amazing work out of this country, and then they find it most important to exhibit it in other countries, and then the subject here or the people they document don't get to see the images. So this is also something I'm really investing my time to do very well. And then actually part of that, I'm working on a project that I'll get to later, I guess. Yeah. Publications on Instagram. I have many pictures on Instagram, many followers. Follow me. No, so yeah, my work has been on the Washington Post. It's also been on another German newspaper. I don't remember. I can't even pronounce the name. It has also been where in the East African. I need to go get my check there. Yeah, it's been in a couple of places, but yeah, it's on Instagram.
Okay. Then let me do the last question. Then we give it to the audience. One thing you tell an emerging photographer in the audience. What is that one thing you would tell them?
One thing. You guys good? Yeah. We good? Should we have some more beatboxing before we? Yeah. Okay. I hope I'm not boring you. Just in case I am, raise your hand and we'll be done. So what I would tell them. I mean, yeah, so this is what happened. I've met many emerging photographers that, tell me every other time, I want to be like you, man. I really love your work. I wish one day I'm going to be like you. And I'm like, but you and me are different. So I tell them, look, keep shooting and find yourself, because like I told you, there are two different types of photographers. There's the commercial photographer that is just amazing at, at promoting the work, and then they're good at getting the gigs. There's that kind of photographer, and there's another photographer that is out there to tell the story, that's using photography as an art. I mean, don't get me wrong, they can both come together. And then eventually what happens is, these different two photographers, I don't think they will all be remembered as the same, because one guy is just there to do assignment, even though some of them are good at it and they know how to promote the company or the whole business. But I guess you have to find a voice, keep shooting, and then it should come within. I can't tell you this is the recipe of how to be a great photographer. I can give you some of the techniques, and I can tell you my own story of how I've made it to where I am, and I'm not even anywhere close to where I want to be. It's actually funny that I'm sitting here and all of you are here to listen to me. So I'm really grateful, guys. Thanks for coming. But I'm still striving, and I'm very thirsty to be the photographer I want to be. And that's a question that keeps on bugging in my head each and every time. Am I sharing the right vision? Am I really doing justice to my subjects? Am I is my work really worthy? Should everybody get to see this? So these are the questions that keep on coming out, keep on haunting me each and every other day. So I'm on that long journey of really being an amazing photographer.